Mhm. There you go. Looks good. Okay, so everybody will be real quiet here until 7 o'clock, and then we'll all start talking.
Who's Mary Evans?
She's a mucky muck.
She's our area director. Oh, I got area.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I apologize. I was multitasking.
We're all doing that.
Yes.
Good morning.
Just getting up.
Well, life
No
in the
kidding.
fast lane. Life in the fast lane.
Yes, I'll turn on my camera in a minute, but I'm just getting up. I made an extra special effort to be here this morning. I know it's been a long time coming.
Yay!
All right,
All right.
everyone. It is 7 o'clock now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. It is 7 o'clock, and it's time for our Earlybird Toastmasters meeting. I am Randolph Bastine, your Sergeant at Arms. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, which results in greater self-confidence and personal growth. As we continue to meet by Zoom, we ask that you practice good Zoom etiquette by keeping yourself muted unless you are an active speaker. We encourage you to use the chat feature to send a message to everyone or private message of feedback to a speaker. And now it's my honor to introduce to you our presiding officer, Toastmaster Paolo Barone.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine. I'm sorry for the sound. I don't know what to do to figure out a way, but I'm so happy to be here with you today. Here in Italy, it's not really early morning. I'm not an early bird. We're in the middle of the day. It's 1 o'clock, and today I had a really difficult choice to make. My choice was between early birds meeting and a freshly homemade lasagna my mother is cooking. But hey, after 2 weeks, I couldn't skip 1 more week. So I'm happy to be with you. I eat the lasagna later as soon as we're done. All right, let's start the meeting with the invocation today given by Toastmaster Ilson. Please take it away.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. On International Translation Day, we pay tribute to the work of translators who play a significant role in breaking down barriers and bringing people together. It is celebrated each day on September 30, on the feast day of Saint Jerome, the Bible translator, who is considered the patron saint of translators. Saint Jerome is known for translating the Bible into Latin from Greek manuscripts of the New Testament. Today, the important work of translating the Bible continues through faithful men and women around the world who have devoted their lives to bringing the hope of God's word to their people. We give thanks for Bible translators around the world. We ask you to protect those whose lives are at risk for translating the Bible. We pray you give strength and endurance to every translator as this task can take many years. And we pray that translators will have all the resources necessary for this work. Bless each one and their families. May they experience the joy of seeing God's word being delivered to their communities. And now please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated, those who stood. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ilson. Now let's sing the joke of the day by Toastmaster Luis Lane. Please.
Good morning, Mr. Toastmaster and presiding president, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. As you know, seniors do complain. So here's a bus comes to the senior center to take a bunch of seniors to a beautiful new restaurant. They enter the room and are seated with each plate, salt and pepper at each place, and a hot coffee is served immediately. Cream and sugar at each place. The meal is served. The portions are just right. Rolls and butter and a wonderful dessert. The waiter comes over and says to the group, tell me, is anything right?
Thank you, Toastmaster Luis Lane. Thank you. Now let's hear from Toastmaster Barkley, the grammarian of the day, who is going to introduce us the word of the day. Please enrich your vocabulary, Toastmaster Barkley. You're muted. Unmute. Still muted.
How about that? The word of the day is bedlam. Yes, chaos, pandemonium. The District 47 conference broke down in complete bedlam. The term comes from the 1400s. St. Mary of Bethlehem Mental Hospital in England. Bethlehem became contracted to bedlam over the years. So that's where bedlam comes from. There is bedlam. Another lovely cocktail party word. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Barkley. Let's move to the third introduction. Starting with you, Toastmaster Barkley. Please.
Introduction. It's hard to hear. I am riding, not driving, up the turnpike, headed towards Atlanta. I have apparatus clamped to windows and USB ports and things on my cell phone, so I have a headphone. Well, we will see how this meeting works. I am glad to be here. Distinguished Toastmaster Kip Barkley.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Barkley. Let's hear from Toastmaster Jim Day, please.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, Mr. President. My name is Jim Day, DTM. I'll be your timer for today. And bedlam. Oh, when I arrive in Anchorage Sunday night, there will be pure bedlam as all of the snow is packing down on the streets. And the moose will be walking in my direction and across the road in front of me. That's pure bedlam. Mr. President.
Is
that Toastmaster? Is that me?
Yes.
Tom Quinn.
Yes. I couldn't quite hear him. Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, my name is Tom Quinn, here from Fort Lauderdale. And I'm wondering, Jim Day, is the plural of moose mice?
Mooses.
Toastmaster Randall Bastine, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and almost welcome guests. I am Toastmaster Randolph Bastine and Motivational Strategies Level 2. And I try to stay away from bedlam. I don't, although I get through any situations of chaos, I do try to stay away from them and stay in peaceful modes. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Toastmaster Richmond, please.
Mr. Presiding Officer, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, and our honored area director. So happy to have you here. I'm coming to you from Southwest Pennsylvania, where It's already into fall and getting colder every day. It's 46 degrees outside right now. I completed my persuasive influence pathway, and now I'm working a lot on the engaging humor. And I think the plural of meese, of moose is meese. Really, goose, geese, moose, meese, whatever. I don't know. Sometimes my life is nothing but bedlam because of so many things going on. Happy to be here, though. Good morning.
Thank you, Toastmaster Richmond. Let's hear now from my paisana, Carmine Toso.
Good morning, my spiritual sisters and brothers. All I can say is Bedlam is a part of life. How we manage to get through it, how we manage to survive it, how we manage to evolve in this ever constant bedlam of change. Right now, the world is in bad bedlam. The whole world. It's not just the United States, the whole world. This virus has affected every aspect of life. Banking, finance, transportation, ocean supply lines, mortgage rates, school kids not wearing masks, school boards, governors going crazy about wanting to get elected. That's bedlam, but we can manage it because we're Toastmasters. God bless you all.
Well said, thank you. Let's hear back from Toastmaster Anna Ilsen.
Good morning, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. My name is Anna Ilsen, Innovative Planning 3. Children's birthday parties, in my experience, are usually bedlam. Also, I wanted to say that we used to have at one point an attorney general, I believe, whose name was Edwin Meese, and I heard that his father was a moose. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Toastmaster Louise Lane, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, Mr. President, Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I am having bedlam trying to be a Toastmaster, and I won't give up my ship. So I'm grateful to be here today and be with all of you.
Thank you. Let's hear from Toastmaster Jeffrey Alejo, please.
Good morning, Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. My name is Jeffrey Alejo, and we went to Busch Gardens this past weekend, and we went into the haunted houses. And funny, I know skulls and creepy people are gonna jump out of the bushes and try to scare me, but even knowing that can't avoid the bedlam of the madness of the craziness and the crowds and the scares coming out of the bushes. It was a good time though. Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rianjo. Let's hear now from the first half of the ghost, Chris Gold, please.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, yes, I am Advanced Toastmasters and PT5, whatever. And I love Bedlam. Bedlam is my happy place because I'm actually pretty good at managing when it's bedlam. When things are peaceful and going exactly according to plan, I'm afraid that I'm going to mess up that plan. So we are in the Keys right now. We are coming to you from our RV, currently in Tavernier, and it's a little peaceful here. So we hope to get down to Key West, and maybe I'll find some bedlam there, Mr. President.
Thank you. Let's hear now from the other half of the ghost, Jingo.
Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, visiting dignitaries, and most welcome guests. I am Confident Toastmaster Jim Gould. I also have a couple of paths going and pathways, and I'm glad to be here. I'm just not so happy that I had to get out of bed so early on this bedlam day. It'll be all right, though. It's beautiful down here in the Keys, and we shall have a good day. Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Gold. I want to welcome now our guest, starting with Toastmaster Mary Evans. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Good morning, all the way from the sun, and the sea. As stated, I'm Mary Evans, Area Director 21, and the last 3 weeks of my life have been bedlam. I lost my mom due to COVID-19, and it was a whirlwind. The morgue went on strike, so it took us a while for us to get her body, and everything just was spiraling. But thank God it has ended. And on Monday, we dropped our sister off to the hospital because she was experiencing breathing issues due to COVID-19. So now she's still there. So I'm hoping that the bedlam doesn't continue, but I had to make an effort to be here today. And it's so nice to finally meet you, Mr. President.
Thank you for being here with us, and sorry for your loss. Let's hear from another guest. I see Lily B. Lily B, are you with us? Hello?
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Lily. I've been invited by Anna to visit Toastmasters. So good morning, all Toastmasters, and thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Welcome to be here. We're glad you're here. And yes, my name is Paolo Barone, the presiding officer of Earlybird Toastmasters. I apologize for my acoustic bedlam. I had to figure out a way to fix it. I'm in a cathedral ceiling, so next time I'm going to be in the wine cellar, so maybe it's better.
You forgot Jose.
Jose, of course, my same time zone. All right.
Oh, pronto. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. This is Bedlam. When you forget me, you create Bedlam.
Yeah.
I am Toastmaster Jose Ferrer, DL1. It's wonderful to be here. I'm coming to you from Madrid, Spain. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We're very close this time, Jose, just a few miles away from each other. All right, now let's move to the core of the meeting, which is going to be led from the Toastmaster of the day, which today is Randolph Bastine, the Toastmaster of the day. Take it away, Randolph.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Randolph Bastine and the Toastmaster of today. And the Toastmaster today is the Toastmaster controls the meeting, but I do not do that alone. I have helpers, and I will introduce them. If I can, our first helper for the day is the odd counter, which is Jeff Rialjo. Can you let us know what an odd counter do?
Absolutely. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, the odd counter is responsible for noting the speaker's verbal pauses, that is, ahs, ers, you knows, likes, etc. The offender will be reminded with a ding, and fines for offending your ears is shame, shame, shame on you. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jeff. And we also have a grammarian, which is Distinguished Toastmaster Kip Barkley. Can you let us know what a Toastmaster does? Sorry, grammarian, sorry.
Kip, you're muted, Kip.
I will listen for sparkling language and compliment you by name. If you mess up, I will point it out, but not mention you by name. We tend to do very good grammar here, and you're loving the word of the day. Thank you.
Thank you. And we also have a timer, who is Distinguished Toastmaster Jim Day, which he would explain the timing requirements and also the job of the timers at a later part of the meeting. And now we also have a topic master, which it is my honor to introduce to you our topic master, Carmine Tuzo. that will take over and do the topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the meeting. I need to know who the speakers are this morning, so I won't call on them. Jim Gould. Who else is a speaker? Just Jim? Oh, and Lois Lane. Okay, great.
Tom Quinn.
And Tom Quinn. Toastmasters, we do table topics because it invites us to learn how to use our thinking, our speaking on a topic in a way that's not creating bedlam inside the brain, but creating a harmonious thought process that's expressed verbally. It's an ongoing process. So today's table topics coming from the word get. There are numerous idioms that get. G-E-T. I see some of you are listening intently, and so I'll give you a couple of examples of the idioms using get. You've all heard the expression, get a handle on something, right? Say, raise your hand if you have. Yeah, good. All right, so you've heard these expressions, and now you're going to get what it means to express yourself in a way about getting something. So let's hear from
Mr. Topic Master.
Okay,
timing requirements.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
Fellow Toastmasters, timing requirements are 1 to 2 minutes with a 30-second deviation only at the end. At 1 minute, I will bring on the green light. At 1 minute, 30 seconds, the amber, and at 2 minutes, the red. And if I start flashing, the hook is coming out. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. Aletha Barron. Here's the idiom. Get a kick out of something. Get a kick out of something. What does that come to mind? Get a kick out of something.
Did you call on me, Carmine, Alita?
Yes. Were you paying attention?
Oh, yes, but I thought you said Alita Barron, and I'm like, what name are you guys throwing at me now? I don't even know
I'm living in the past. Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm living in the past.
In any event, I get a kick out of that. The fact that we keep remembering things from the past and forget that we have moved on to a different day. But to get a kick out of something, I always say, hey, that was a hoot. You will get a kick out of this. That means that you really enjoy it. I don't think it actually means that you're going to get kicked or anything, because that could be painful. But hey, you get what you get when you go through life. And it's better to look at the positive aspect of it. For example, I have always said how lucky I am, and I will say that can be a turning point in your life, because negative things happen. But, for example, last week, one of my neighbors on the way home crashed into my beautiful board fence, took out 2 poles and 4 big fence boards. Now, that would seem like it was a negative thing, but it turned out to be a positive experience, because I met my neighbors, and there's a whole family of them there. 4 brothers came and put that fence back together in 3 days. Perfect. It was great. So you can get a kick out of anything. It depends on how you look at it. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you. And our brother from Madrid, Jose, this is yours. Get off the hook. Get off the hook.
Dear fellow Toastmasters and Topic Master, getting off the hook is something I used to do a lot in school. You see, I was tall. I used to sit in the back row and I used to sneak down like this and they wouldn't see me. So I would be able to do all kinds of things and I would get off the hook. Later in life, the hook started to get closer. And so what I did is I ran away. I just ran away. Every time I saw a hook, call him a Captain Hook, call him what you wish, I just ran away. Getting off the hook is something that is good when you have not done something right. Today, I try and do things right. And so therefore that big hook is no longer chasing me all over the place. I have put that hook right where it belongs, in the fish's mouth, so I can hook him. So that's what I do with getting off the hook. And that's what the fish want to do too, but I don't let them. Back to you, Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, thank you. And next is his sister, Anna Ilson. Toastmaster Anna. Get into the swing of things. Get into the swing of things.
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Get into the swing of things. That's pretty much how I've done a lot of things in my life. I find out about something, I join the little group, I get into the swing of it, and next thing you know, I'm head over heels over whatever it is that's going on that I didn't even mean to be involved in. So getting into the swing of things can be good. It provides impromptu fun. Sometimes it doesn't end so well. And getting into the swing of things, for a while I took ballroom dancing lessons with my husband, and we were trying to become compatible while dancing the swing. That was a lot of fun, and it proved one of our few areas of compatibility. So we really got into the swing of it. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics Master.
You're muted. You're muted.
Mary Evans, would you be okay with participating in table topics? Great. Mary Evans, get into the ground floor. Get in on the ground floor. Get in on the ground floor.
Thank you so much for choosing me to answer that question. Get in on the ground floor. That is something that I now have to do now after going through 3 weeks of bedlam. I need to get to the ground floor. I need to build back what was turned a bit shaky, set everything back in motion, and get back into the swing of things, because actually I'm an educator, and for the past few weeks dealing with my mom's death, I haven't been able to teach. So now I am back on the ground floor, back in the virtual classroom, and getting my children back on track. Thank you, Table Topics Master.
And Becky Jo Bean, are you up for table topics?
Sure.
Okay, Becky Jo. Get the show on the road. Get the show on the road.
Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Get the show on the road. You know, I think that was my dad's favorite saying. We were always going places. We were camping, we were boating, we were packing up equipment, we were fixing sails, there was always a lot to do. And there were only 2 kids. So he always had us bring friends. And as I'm talking to you, I'm realizing he wasn't generous. He wanted the work done. He wanted the show on the road. And the way to get that is more hands, make it happen faster. So I'm just realizing now that my dad was into slave labor. He was exploiting children. Now we did have a great payoff. We got to water ski, we got to sail, we got to camp. So there was a great payoff, and none of my friends ever complained about the workload. I will guarantee you that when they went home, they did not do as much at home as they did at our house. I mean, really, a friend couldn't come over to me. If they were sitting around, my mom would have them clean. I mean, there was nothing. They took advantage of all of us. But I think because they made the show so much fun, everybody participated. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, thank you. And next, Toastmaster Randolph Bastine. Toastmaster Randolph Bastine. Get up and go. Get up and go.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics. And good morning, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I'm Toastmaster Randolph Bastine. Get up and go. Get up and go is pretty much my motto. I would say it, not just say it's pretty much how I live. Get up and go. Every morning, I'm the one that wakes up everybody. I'm the first that wakes up in the house. The baby no longer does that. He's now transitioning into the waking up more so during the 7:30, 8 o'clock hour. So now he has given that job back to me, which is cool. So now I have to get up and get everyone going, which everyone don't always like that. So, I have to turn on the lights, turn on my noisy podcast and, start making the noise. And the little one has always asked to get on my back to walk her to the bathroom to brush her teeth, which that's the baby girl, which is always fun. So get up and go is pretty much where I live right now. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. And our final table topics is for our President Paolo Barone. Get something off your chest. Get something off your chest.
Getting something off my chest. Mr. Tabletop Master, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guest. I'm so happy to finally be hit with a table topic. It's been 2 weeks. I already feel rusty. I haven't spoken English in 2 weeks. So I don't know what to say, but I'm going to try. I have to go back into the Toastmaster gym. Getting something off my chest. I do that once in a while. Because when you confront someone and you speak directly, you get their weight off your chest, it might be painful while you're doing that, but you feel much better afterwards. It's like your chest got used to the weight. So when you remove it, it's feeling something. But then you're able to breathe better, to live better. Therefore, getting off something that your chest is something good to do once in a while. It's like flushing the AC pipes. If you do not once in a while, they get clogged and the AC leaks. The same thing happens to you. If you don't flush the pipes, your body is not going to function properly. Your mind is not going to function properly. So get off your chest something once in a while. Flush those pipes. Breathe better. Breathe deeper. Don't be afraid to look someone in the eyes and telling him or her, hey, you did me wrong. You better not do it again. Otherwise, I call my friend. Back to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And now let's hear from our timer. How did our 7 table topics participants do today with regard to time?
We had 6 out of 7 do well. Alita, 1 minute 24 seconds. Jose 1 minute 12 seconds. Anna 1 minute 5 seconds. Unfortunately, Mary Evans did not qualify. She only did 41 seconds. Becky Jo Bean 1 minute 28. Randolph 1 minute 14. And Paolo 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Please vote for your favorite.
The poll was taken off too fast. I didn't have time.
Yeah, it's me too. It came and went.
Sorry, I didn't stop it. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens.
I demand a recount.
Yeah, 1 second. Hold on. Let me.
There it is. There it is.
Let me bring it back.
I got it.
There
I
is.
got it.
It's there. It's there. Don't touch
Okay.
it.
All right,
Click
all right.
fast. Click fast.
that was my fault. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, are you going to do polls?
Yeah, I can put them up.
Okay, cool.
And I want to thank all the participants. I used this book more than once. Idioms. A fascinating revelation about common everyday language and the significance of words that are put together that have no real literal sense. They are basically nonsense, but because they're idioms, they have a wider, broader meaning. I think some of you have purchased this book. Have a blessed day. Get the lead out. Get the lead out. Okay. I return control to our Toastmaster.
Okay. Thank you. Now we're going to have a quick recess. Before we do that, as far as recess, how much time do we have for recess?
In 3 minutes, I think is good.
Okay.
And so, the main thing that needs to be accomplished is I'm the general evaluator, so I need to set who is evaluating who. And we have Jeff, Alita, and Kip as evaluators. Unless any of you specify a particular person, I'm going to put you in order. So I'll give you a second to tell me if do any speakers or any evaluators have a particular request?
I'm good.
I guess I'm an evaluator. That's the first time I've heard that, but I'm fine with doing it.
Oh, sorry. It must have been left over from last week, but yep, you're in.
That's fine.
I'm good.
Okay. So just in this order that they are in the program, Jeff, you will be evaluating Lois Lane. Alita evaluating Jim Gould. And Kip Barkley evaluating Tom Quinn.
Okay. And I have been muting Kip because he is making a lot of extraneous noise and grabbing so remember to unmute. And same thing with Tom Quinn. So if there's noise, I will mute you. Pay attention. Jim, my speech is 2 to 3 minutes. Same as an evaluation.
Thank you. Today is an additional new holiday in Canada. And it has started today for the first time, and it's called the Day of Truth and Reconciliation. To me, that's a comment against the bedlam of government actions recently.
Yeah.
They definitely don't know anything about reconciliation.
May I speak? May I say something?
Sure.
Yes, we have the Area 21 contest coming up October 9th at 8:30 a.m. I am still in need of judges, ballot counters, and timers. Do we have any takers in the room? Any volunteers in the room?
Kip will volunteer from Franklin, North Carolina. I'll email you later. We'll work out what's less clumsy.
Thank you. Any other volunteers in the room?
What's the date again?
October 9th at 8:30 a.m.
Unfortunately, I will be in Alaska, and that's 4:30 a.m. Alaska time. So sorry, I'll have to pass.
That's a Saturday morning.
Yes, it is. Can I leave my email in the chat? Maybe persons can reach out to me via email if they change their mind or become available. Can I do that?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I believe it's time to call the meeting back to order.
We're at
And-
3 minutes.
Okay. And we're going to start the meeting, go directly into our presentations and the speakers. Our first speaker is one of the newest members, and it's always a breath of fresh air to hear her speak. Toastmaster Lois Lane with a 5 to 7 minute speech and titled,
Timer.
Timer.
The timing for the speeches today is Lois is 5 to 7 minutes. She has a 30-second deviation, both the beginning and the end. The green light will come on at 5 minutes, the amber at 6, and the red at 7. Tom's speech is the same sequence in a 5 to 7 minute speech. Jim Gould has a 2 to 3 minute speech. The green will come on at 2, the amber at 3 or 2:30, and the red at 3. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so now let's please give a welcoming hand to Toastmaster Lois Lane with her speech titled The Missing Coat.
Good morning, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. I was in Florence, Italy on a 2-week hiking trip with my group. On my final week, we stayed in a large hotel where we could walk into the city. Other hikers were buying leather coats to take back to the States. My girlfriend and I decided to visit the store and see if we could get ourselves a leather coat too. We entered the store and my girlfriend was immediately being measured for a short coat. I looked on the racks and found the one for me. After back and forth arguments, I got my price and took the coat. It was packed for my trip home. My fellow hikers loved my coat and tried it on and modeled it. I packed the coat and tied string around it, a big picture of David on top. We were told we were leaving in the morning to have our entire luggage in the lobby of a huge hotel with lots of tourists coming and going. I was excited to go home. My luggage and the big white box with the picture of David on top were in the lobby being loaded up. Last minute pictures were taken outside on the Lake Maggiore. When I got back, luggage was loaded. Asked my leader if my David box was in the bus. He said he did not see any white box with David on it. My heart sank. Who stole it? I cried and I ran around asking the desk, everyone, my beautiful coat is gone. We sat on the bus and we went to the airport. I pouted and would not speak to anyone. My beautiful coat is gone. What's my husband gonna say? We landed in New York City, boarded the shuttle for an hour-long drive to Manchester, Connecticut. I was so down. A friend on the shuttle shouted out to me, Lois, pray to Saint Anthony. He finds things for you. I never heard him. So I looked up to heaven and said, Saint Anthony, I'm a Jewish girl and I really need your help. My leather coat is missing and I really loved it. Please find it. And please help me. Then I fell asleep. I arrived in Manchester, Connecticut, where my husband was waiting for me with his open arms. And I cried and told him my coat. Thought someone took it. He said, let's call Italy tomorrow and see if they found it. He called Italy, talked to the manager of the hotel. They will look around and call us back in a few days. I thought, they'll never find it. The telephone rang. It was the manager of the hotel in Italy. They asked if the box was white and had a picture of David on the front. My husband said, yes, yes. Manager said, we found it. It was under the couch in the lobby. Oh, we were so happy. Manager said he would ship it by boat. We hugged and kissed each other. Sure enough, 6 weeks later, my big package arrived with the beautiful coat. In the pockets were gold earrings for my daughters. Maybe Saint Anthony heard my prayers. Now I will show you the beautiful coat that I don't let out of my sight. The end.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lois Lane. The Missing Coat. What a story. That could be put into a nice book. All right, now for our next speaker, we have Toastmaster Jim Gould with the speech. Toastmaster Jim Gould is involved with technology a bit more than most of us. He realizes how much that technology has made our meetings possible in the age of COVID. While some people are quick to adapt to tech, others are more reluctant. Here with how we are implementing Zoom meetings is Toastmaster Jim Gould. Thank you.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests and dignitaries. Implementing Zoom meetings. Look around, there are a bunch of squares. These are Zoom meetings. And this project that I'm doing here is in two pieces. So this first part is a proposal that needs to be made first, and it includes a development of a plan and building a team and fulfilling the plan with the help of the team that I put together. So I've kind of gone back and developed this over time, and this whole COVID has thrust this Zoom meeting technology upon us. So we had to do something. And, you know, do you remember how we had to scramble? We went to Denny's one morning and they said we couldn't have the meeting. It was, you know, they kicked us out. So we went home and we put together a quick meeting on Zoom, but it worked. It was amazing to me that we could actually get our people together in one place and do this meeting online. So I developed with help, a lot of help, this whole idea of doing the Zoom meetings. So the team that I put together was all of y'all. So you guys are my team for making this Zoom thing happen. And then it was just crazy. Everybody came in there, Kip and Tom and Chris, of course, and we made this Zoom thing happen. So the third part of it is to complete this process. And I will do another report, a 5 to 7 speech on how things got accomplished a year later. A year later, we're all in this together. We're still doing the Zooms. We're trying to figure out if it's going to be something that we can do in a hybrid meeting or something like that. But the whole idea is just to have a project in 3 pieces, to develop a plan, to build a team, and to fulfill the plan with the help of the team members. I think I have really accomplished at least the first part with all y'all's help. This is a great plan. We'll get it together and I'll do another speech and complete this path. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jim Gould, for the educational. And our next speech would be by a longtime Toastmaster, Toastmaster Tom Quinn, with the speech titled Coffeyville, Kansas.
Fellow Toastmasters, my speech is a level 3 conflict resolution, connecting with storytelling. The purpose of my talk is to tell a story, to tell a conflict in the story, and to tell how that conflict was resolved. But I'm going to take you from here, where you are now in Italy and Spain and Pennsylvania, and I'm going to bring you back to the very center of the contiguous United States. It's a little town called Coffeyville, Kansas. And I'm going to take it to a time in 1892 at 9 o'clock in the morning in this dusty, relatively new cow town. Coffeyville was founded several years before as a depot to trade with the Indians just south of the location of Coffeyville in the Oklahoma Territory. We are in southeastern Kansas. It's a calm, dusty morning. People are yawning. The mooses are not there. This is the plains of Kansas. The moose are further west in Colorado. And as you look, sort of sleepy-eyed, you'll see 5 horsemen coming down the road. 5, early hour of the morning. The word went out. Wait a minute. Is this the Dalton gang? Coffeyville had 2 banks. Seems a lot for a small town, but there was a lot of commerce going out of that place. Horses were being traded, tremendous amounts of cattle, and also coal was being processed and sent to eastern cities, St. Louis, Chicago, Indiana, even further east. So there was a requirement of 2 banks. The Daltons, who are the Daltons? The Dalton was a group of people who had lived in that town, in that area sometime. And they were notorious bank robbers, murderers, philanderers. And they had a plan to rob both banks at the same time and then take the money and go to California. My paternal great-grandfather, Francis Fern, met those people on that morning. Francis was born in Scotland after his family left Ireland because of the famine. As a boy, along with his mom and dad, they came to the United States. He became a coal miner in Pennsylvania, moved to Arkansas, and at the time of my story, he lived in Coffeyville. He'd become quite a proficient shotgun shooter. Trap and skeet was his game, and he had won several medals for local contests that he had been in. But back to the morning, that dark, weary morning, people saw that a bank robbery was going to occur. The Daltons are in town. Word went from a hardware store. Please, what are we going to do? Passed out rifles. Winchester rifles and pistols were passed out to several of the citizenry in Coffeyville. 2 of the Daltons went to, I'm going to call it a small bank. 3 of them went to the larger bank. These banks were within a very short distance of one another. When they went into the large bank, the First National Bank, they ordered the clerk to open the vault. I can't do that right now. It's on a timer. What do you mean it's on a timer? It will not open till 9:30. You have to wait. If you want to rob, you have to wait. Well, all right, we'll wait. What happened then in a split second was a mount of bedlam, chaos, confusion, and consternation. In the small bank, one of the clerks made a quick move and the robber shot him. The sound went out. The citizenry were armed and they were waiting for these men to come from these 2 different banks. As they exited the banks, there was a gunfight that took place in about 10, some stories say 15 minutes. All of the townspeople that were involved, and there were 10 of them, of that 10, only 1 had a shotgun. My parental great-grandfather. He shot Emmett Dalton. Emmett had 23 pellets in him. Emmett was trying to drag a sack filled with silver dollars, must have weighed at least 100 pounds. There was a mess and a chaos, confusion, as you can well imagine. My grandfather survived. Several people did not, including the shoemaker and including the man that ran the hardware store. Now, the point of I'm trying to draw together here is, here we have conflict resolution. You and I have had conflicts in our lives, and we will continue to have them as long as we live, because that's part of our life process. But you don't have to use a rifle to resolve something that you can do easier and quicker with a shotgun. Or what I'm suggesting to you, you can use whatever means are available when you have a conflict. But when that conflict occurs, you must learn to act right away. There is not a time to sit and say, oh, do you need the money? Would you like to have it? What are the needs socially that caused you to have this need? Did you not get your proper education? Did you not work? That's all crap. You got to deal with life as it comes to you. Life is a journey. Hopefully it'll make us grow and improve. I hope you've enjoyed my talk about my paternal great-grandfather. I was amazed to know the story, to learn about it. It was a joy for me to share that with you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Master Tom Quinn. Excellent story. And now, if we can get the timer's report from our timer, Distinguished Toastmaster Jim Day.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Lois, 6 minutes, 38 seconds qualified. Jim Gould, 2 minutes, 49 seconds qualified. Unfortunately, Tom Quinn with 7 minutes, 58 seconds did not qualify. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. If you all can vote. And now we will hear from our general evaluator, Toastmaster Chris Gould.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and visiting dignitaries, it is now time for what some say is the best part of Toastmasters, is at least a unique part of Toastmasters, where our speakers get to hear from other advanced speakers in this group anyway about how they did. And as with everything in Toastmasters, we have timing requirements. Mr. Timer.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. The time for evaluations is 2 to 3 minutes with a 30-second deviation at the beginning or at the end. The green light will come on at 2 minutes, the amber at 2 minutes, 30 seconds, and the red at 3 minutes. Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. Evaluating our first speaker, Toastmaster Lois Lane, is Toastmaster Jeff Realjo.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and especially our Toastmaster, Lois Lane. I have to tell you, before you broke the news that you were told to tell that prayer to St. Anthony, in the back of my mind, I was thinking my mom would always say a prayer to St. Anthony. And I thought she was the only one that knew about that. Or I'm always blown away where there's these little things in your life where you think they're unique to you, but then you see other people using them. And it's very interesting to hear that. I want to start off with what I think you did well this morning. And first and foremost, it was your use of storytelling, right? So storytelling is very impactful in any sort of communication environment, especially when you're doing a speech. It allows people to connect with you and you to connect with the audience. So great job doing that. I know that you did that in your first speech, and I think that's a strength of yours. I also think you had a really good use of vocal variety. You stayed in your lane, but you still found your ways to incorporate some fluctuation in there. So for instance, St. Anthony, you really expressed that well. And then you said, and I fell asleep. So those little nuances in your speech really, really do make an impact. And you spoke very clearly as well. So I think that was the combination of using that vocal variety and clear speech really, really led to a successful overall speech. One thing I want to point out is, so your Zoom setup, we've talked about this from time to time. One easy, quick fix that you can make is just make sure your head, there's some space between the top of your head and the top of your screen. Yes, like exactly like that. So just be aware of that and make sure that you don't need any other equipment. You don't need any fancy setup. When you're getting ready, just make sure you're kind of in the right spot based on the camera angle. And also you might want to think about getting some lighting. I have a lamp just shining in my face. Maybe I see that lamp behind you. Maybe you could kind of reposition it to get some better lighting incorporated. But overall, and I think the setup was fine. Just some simple tweaks there. And also a reminder, when you end your speech, you end it by addressing whoever is coming up next to the podium. So in your case, you would say, Mr. Toastmaster. You don't thank them. It's just a clean, concise ending. You know the audience knows that you're done, and then it's officially over. But great job with your speech. I know it's your second speech. I know you're still using notes and getting through it, but I think you're doing a great job, and I'm looking forward to hearing some more speeches from you. Madam General Evaluator.
Following your own advice there, right, Jeff? And that is something we learn in Toastmasters. You do not say thank you at the end of a speech. You just address whoever is supposed to come up after you. Works like a charm. Evaluating our second speaker, Toastmaster Jim Gould, is Toastmaster Alita Richmond.
Madam General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and visitors, guests, and especially Jim Gould. Now, Jim is working on a level 4, so he's an accomplished speaker already, and he has done a lot. In this project, the whole entire level 4 project involves developing a plan, setting up a team, and then fulfilling that plan. And today's project was just to introduce to us what his plan is and was, and he explained all of that to us very clearly. Jim knows what he's doing, and if it were not for him and Chris and all of y'all, which he used a couple of times, we probably wouldn't be as advanced in using this Zoom technology as we are. He aptly explained his project, and he always uses good language to explain what he's talking about. Jim, you can always understand what he's saying. And not only that, I mean, he knows what it takes to be right in the middle of the Zoom box where you have to be. So his appearance, which is the first thing you notice about anybody's presentation, is always very good. It was only a 2 to 3 minute speech, which is what all I'm allowed to have too. But as far as things I would say on the vocal variety, this was not a speech that offered a lot of opportunity for vocal variety, but Jim used good, strong, clear language, a nice pace, and kept us all engaged. He kept us engaged because, of course, we were all part of his process here. Also, his gestures, again, this was not a speech that offered a lot of opportunity for specific gestures, but when he talked about all you all, we knew that we were included. This was almost a table topic for Jim. Let's see. And what did he learn about this project as he was working through? He let us know that we could make this work. And it was not just him alone. He built his team, which was all of y'all. And I'm glad to have been a part of that too, because I got snagged right into the Zoom meetings early on, thanks to Kip Barkley for pulling me in. Jim, you always educate us and do such a fine job of letting us know how we can improve. We love to hear from you and Chris. Well, everybody here, all of y'all give great speeches. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Richmond. And for evaluating our final speaker, Tom Quinn, we have Toastmaster Kip Barkley coming to us from the Turnpike.
Somewhere on the Turnpike, not Coffeeville, Kansas, though. Thank you, Tom Quinn. Nice alliteration in your title. I like that. You were threatening to do this speech for some time. I am glad you got to it. Oh, a gunfight in Main Street. A lot of us have seen Westerns. I can't make cultural assumptions that everybody has, but Westerns, I've seen a bunch. And here you are telling stories of the town folks and the Daltons. That's a familiar name to me. Just looking forward and enjoying all of this. Let me see. Francis Hearn, your grandfather or something like that. Excellent, excellent. The theme of conflict resolution and shotguns has a certain quirky spin to it. I do kind of like that. I do. Well, let me see. What would I advise? I would have had a little more pictorial description of Main Street and be clear how far apart the banks were. Just make it up. 100 feet sounds pretty good. These towns are not 100 yards long. And I would hang a couple more names on some of the townsfolks. Just make it up. That will work fine. Well, you did blow the time, but you had this introduction in your speech. If you'd put it in the intro, now I think that was humorous because I don't know if there's a combination storytelling and conflict resolution project, but we're always being surprised by pathways. So if you had left that for your introducer, also during your intro, you were looking down, dreadful eye contact. But once you started the story, we got to see your smiling, smirking face. I loved it. So yes, paint some more pictures, put some more names on these people. And I know your style, shotgun conflict resolution. Yes, that's Tom Quinn. Thank you so much for this delightful speech.
And thank you for your evaluation, Toastmaster Barkley. Mr. Timer, how did our evaluators do?
Madam General Evaluators, all of our evaluators qualified today. Jeff, 2 minutes, 51 seconds. Alita, 3 minutes and 5 seconds. And Kip Barkley, 2 minutes, 18 seconds. Please vote.
Okay. And now I need to call on our various helpers to give their reports. So I welcome distinguished Toastmaster Kip Barkley back to the center square as he is our grammarian for the day.
Grammarian today. You guys loved the word bedlam. Well, you just put bedlam all over the place in the introductions, into speeches. Loved it. Loved it. And then Toastmaster Tuzo with his getting whatever. We were just getting the ball rolling and getting out of the closet and running all over the place. And then Lois was quite sparkling in telling her story. So I am just thoroughly impressed with everyone here with their graphic use of the word bedlam. It does seem to suit us. Thank you so much.
And thank you. Next, we have our counter. Jeff Rialjo.
Yes. Madam General Evaluator, I have 3 Toastmasters that I caught with Oz. First is Toastmaster Richmond with 2 Oz, Toastmaster Quinn with 1, and Toastmaster Bastine with 1. Madam General Evaluator.
And thank you for that. And now it's my pleasure to evaluate the whole meeting. You would think that it might have been bedlam to have people from literally all over the world in one meeting. How impressive that we had somebody from Italy, from Spain, from Pennsylvania, from the Florida Keys. I think the fewest number were from our hometown of Fort Lauderdale, but nope. We got everybody flying in formation. We know how these meetings go and we follow the structure. But then we have fun. My favorite philosophy is freedom within structure. And we do that so wonderfully here in Earlybird Toastmasters. Table topics, idioms is so much fun. That it's really a perfect kind of a table topic. I think table topics should be easy so that people can talk. And speaking to idioms is pretty easy and yet interesting. And Tom, Carmine Tuzo, ding, ding, ding. Carmine Tuzo has done idioms a few times, but he gave up his secret today. He showed us the book where he's getting these from, and I thought he just had them all figured out. Quality of speeches, always good, and today was no exception. And same thing with evaluations. I do want to commend people for stepping up during the week to sign up for roles. Kip didn't have to jump in and do a speech today. We actually had 3 speeches without Kip Barkley today. But he still ended up doing 2 roles, even though he is in a moving vehicle on the turnpike. Because suggestions for improvement. Well, there is one thing, a couple of little things. Paolo's echo chamber, just a suggestion, instead of having to find another room, although I would love to see you do this from your wine cellar, that would probably be great sound too. But if you just got a headset, it fixes the echo in a cavernous room like that. Oh, one other good thing, I just wanted to have people notice the timer. Did you notice had his little reaction hand up the whole time? That's because just putting your hand up puts you in the top left corner of the Zoom squares so that people can find the timer. I think that's a great thing for everybody to follow. And I want to say thank you for our dignitary, for Mary Evans for coming to our meeting. We always love to have them see how good we are. With that, I will return the center stage square to our Toastmaster, Randolph Bastine.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chris Gould. Awesome and great evaluation. And now we will go to rewards. All right, we have everything was great today, and we have some rewards for the best table topic. That goes to Toastmaster Anna Ilson. For the best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Jeff Rialjo. And the best speaker of the day is Toastmaster Lois Lane. Thank you. Now back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bastine. Excellent job as a Toastmaster of the day. We had an amazing meeting, an international meeting. Thank you, Zoom. All right, let's hear from our guest, from our welcome guest, starting with our area director, Toastmaster Mary. Toastmaster Mary, what did you think of the meeting?
Yes, good morning once again. Good morning once again. I truly enjoyed the meeting. It was truly a breath of fresh air. And I appreciated the opportunity to see what someone else does, what another group does, and it's slightly different from what we do, but I definitely got some tips that I'm going to carry back to my club. I am the president of Island Communicators here in the Bahamas. So thank you once again, and I will definitely be back.
Thank you for visiting us. Let's hear now from another guest, Lily B. Please share with us your impression of the meeting. You still with us?
Yes, but she's at work. She just put it in the chat. She's at
Okay.
work. She won't be able to speak.
Thanks. All right. Thanks for visiting us, and you're always welcome to come back and visit us again. And all right. So, do we have any announcements? Toastmaster Berkeley?
Yes, October 28th, that meeting will be our Halloween meeting. So be thinking, what can you do? What can you do to be spooky? Spooky stories, spooky costumes, spooky whatever. I forgot my Scream mask and I'm driving north. I'll have to figure out some way to do this. Hope you all will too. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do we have any member comments? Anyone who wants to say a word or two? All right. We have a few minutes. Anybody wants to sing? Any song? All right.
I want to tell you,
Paolo.
I want to tell you all that you have no idea how this meeting, which I've attended for many, many years,